In Washington, people don't understand what really happened under the Shah and under the mullahs. But by getting to know so many members of the exiled community, I began to see greater insights about the regime in Iran, which is very interesting to all of us. And I wanted to know, why would a regime engage in terrorism? Why would a regime engage in harsh internal repression? Why would a regime seek a nuclear weapons capability? Why would they be eager to come to the negotiating table and sit for 2 years with no agreement and smile and come back and delay for 2 years? Why would they be so interested in interfering with the politics of an Arab country next door, Iraq, and Yemen? Why? And so I studied these issues, and with the help of Iranian scholars, wrote about the answer to these questions to try to understand the regime. And I now understand, when I hear Madame Rajavi speak about the regime acting out of weakness and vulnerability, I understand what this means in political development terms. I understand that the regime has a problem of legitimacy, because although Khomeini was welcomed when he came back from Paris, nobody knew about the constitution of Velayat Ifaqi until after. And when he tried to impose dictatorship on the people of Iran, they resisted, and they said no. And what we have seen time and again, when Rafsanjani was president, when Khatami was president, and when Rouhani was president, the repression internally goes up, not down. And so the reformist myth does not equal moderation. And so a number of prominent Americans, I don't call myself prominent, but many who have come to Paris again and again, who know the resistance very well, wrote a letter to President-elect Trump. It was delivered to the administration, and it was released 2 days ago. It was signed by 23 Americans whose name you recognize, and it explains the actual thesis of the vulnerability of the Iran regime and how its activities are inconsistent with the project that the West has for international law, for norms, for universal human rights, inconsistent with these very basic pillars of stability in the world. And so the other major message of this letter is that the United States is being urged to have a dialogue with the National Council of Resistance of Iran. And maybe we can understand who the resistance is in America and how much they have stood bravely against dictatorship and for human rights, and trying to separate church and state, for tolerance, for women's rights. Madame Rajavi has had a 10-point plan for more than 10 years now. This is not a new plan. It was formalized 10 years ago. It was probably already represented their views long before that.